Behind the Counter is sponsored by
GoDaddy.com. Sign up for a new account and get your domain name for only $2.49 by using promo code Queens at checkout.
All right, hello and welcome everybody to another episode of Behind the Counter, your one-stop shop for everything pop culture, comic book, movie, TV, and awesome related. I'm your host, Rich Stambolian, and with me as always, Charlie Hunnam's replacement in 50 Shades of Grey, Jonathan Adler.
Hello.
Hi. Hi. You gonna tell all?
You shouldn't say that. It's not
I'm gonna tell all the ladies about doing bondage.
into my my helicopter called what was it called?
I don't know. I didn't read the book.
Charlie's
Angels.
Charlie's Angels.
I would actually I would put you in a movie that has a similar plot, except I would call it 50 Shades of Gary, about a guy from Queens who's trying
I'm going to tie you up right now.
Just for 2 minutes. Can I tie you up for 2 minutes?
10 minutes I'm going to be.
1 minute of your time.
Let me use the bathroom first, all right?
1 minute of your time.
Gary.
You want to put what? Where?
Do you want bagels?
Do you want bagels?
Do you want the bagels?
I have bagels in the freezer from yesterday.
In case.
They're not as good, but they're all right. If you put them in the microwave,
all
they'll...
right. Oh, God, is that what you do?
No.
That's gross, man.
That's why he's disgusting.
You pull it from experience.
I was on the tip of his tongue immediately.
Microwave.
I'm going to work in microwaving my bagel this morning. How do I do it? And also, Andrew thinks like a cool black guy.
Andrew actually thinks that his microwave is a toaster oven.
It's not.
I put this grilled cheese inside there.
And it
Put a
melts.
pot roast inside my toaster oven.
I cook food in it.
I take whole turkeys, just shove them in there.
And tell the guys I cook
Done in like
food
an
in
hour.
my toaster
It's
oven.
amazing. Entire turkey.
I cook food in my toaster oven. I don't have a microwave. I don't believe in it.
You don't believe in microwaves?
No.
They're crazy.
I think microwave food
How do you
always
make
tastes
popcorn?
very weird to me.
Microwave food?
Yeah.
Some of it tastes good.
How do I make popcorn? Old school, man. I put them
Over the kettle.
Over the kettle.
Ugh.
One kernel at a time.
Ugh.
The
With a tweezer.
Ugh.
the only reason why I have a microwave is for one thing only.
Pop-Tarts.
Nah, hell no. I don't need Pop-Tarts.
Give me what?
That's peasant food.
White Castle burgers.
No. Well, that's pretty good too, actually. The the Stouffer's macaroni and cheese is
Oh, yeah?
the best macaroni and cheese in the universe.
Yeah, because
You
it's
bet.
like 3 minutes in the microwave or 40 minutes in the oven.
It's 5 and 3. It's 5 and 3.
5 and 3.
Nobody ever follows that.
So good.
I put it for 7. I call it even.
Oh no, it's not worth it. You're ruining it.
We're back. This week,
Are we?
last week, we were at Comic-Con. We didn't do the show last week. We're at New York Comic-Con 2013 at the Jacob Javits Center
Boy, were we.
in New York City, which is the city we live in.
City of Brotherly Love.
And also, I want to give a shout out to everybody who came out to my New York leg of Bachelor Party Tour 2013. Run down the list: John, Brian, Ralphie, Frankie, Bobby.
Brian.
I said Brian.
Brian.
Brian again. Ralph's boss and Ralph's boss brother. Special thanks to John and Pablo, and a huge shout out to my brother Patrick, who owned the night. He brought the ruckus.
Yeah, definitely. He definitely brought the ruckus.
Brought it, and I think he destroyed everybody's brains.
There's a name missing from that list, though.
Who?
Andrew Zarian.
Andrew Zarian. Yeah.
I had to work.
It had to work.
I had to work.
But everybody's brain was destroyed the night after, which led you to miss the con.
I missed the con on Friday.
It led me to eat a turkey sandwich on the way to the convention.
It was disgusting. I can't believe you went.
Hard 4 days, bro.
Yeah, I felt terrible. I felt really disgusting the next day.
My diet for the weekend was so minimal that it was wake up, work off the hangover, have some eggs, go to the con, come home, have a few drinks, have something small for dinner, and on Saturday night, Popeye's chicken, which actually tasted like garbage, man.
Oh, I loved it.
Mine sucked.
Oh, mine was perfect.
It was one of those things where
What'd you get?
I just got chicken strips. I got chicken strips, I got biscuit, and I got the fries, which is usually what I get. And the fries and the biscuit were tremendous.
You gotta get chicken with bones on it, man. You're throwing your money away with this.
I like the strips, man.
Ugh.
I like the strips. The strips weren't that great, you know.
The chicken was fantastic.
But how did you like Comic-Con?
It was Comic-Con.
Yeah, I know.
I enjoyed it. I think we had a good experience this year.
Yeah.
We were saying earlier that the new registration process and the new badge system can't leave without checking out. It really curbed on the overall traffic of the place. So it's still crowded to hell, but it's like once you get to the middle, it's very, the intersection is really rough. But the amount of bodies that are in there are a bit more manageable.
It was very manageable this year because they did something I think that people didn't expect. Like when they sent you the card with your ticket, it says, like it's imprinted with your unique ID. Yeah. There's nothing printed on the card, but there's a tiny chip inside it. So they're scanning you in and out, and you can't sneak anybody in because of this.
Yeah.
Which we're guilty of that. We've snuck in people to the convention like a ton of times. And
allegedly.
And everybody we know who gets dealer passes and exhibitor passes does the same thing.
Yeah, and that's just us who are doing that. And like, think of every single human person that's out there with passes
who pushes it to the limit.
Yeah, that place is jam packed on the weekends, man.
And the rule is like, if you're gonna get snuck in, I feel like the rule of thumb is like, if like in years past, if you're gonna get snuck in on a Saturday or Sunday or whenever, you don't leave. Otherwise, you're on your own. Every man for himself. So that's why, like the past few years, it's just been like this congenital heart defect of a convention. And this year was awesome. You could breathe. You can hang out a little bit. You get a little more breathing. You get a little more walking room.
Well, the other side, like the team, right?
It's got spray. What are you spraying? Spraying Febreze at your dog?
For?
Oh, man.
There's nothing going on in there. There's no food being cooked.
I like the smell of Febreze.
It's disgusting.
No, it's beautiful.
You're ruining your brain.
It's amazing.
It's so bad for you. I can't think because there's Febreze in my brain now. This is what it does. I thought that the B level, the place where they had the Intel Superdome, was a lot more manageable too. That was a place we could take a breather, and I think we kind of orbited to that place there a lot.
Yeah. We met Jerry Only.
Jerry Only was over on that side.
Jerry Only was awesome.
Jerry Only was such a surprise to us.
Sweetheart, complete sweetheart.
God. My eyes are stinging right now.
We met two Jerrys over the weekend. Jerry Only, totally awesome. That guy was the only dude who cares. I think that's where he got his name from.
Who, Jerry? Are you talking about Jerry Strange?
Jerry Only.
Jerry Strange
asked us our name, signed a couple of things for us. I don't know where those things are. I think I still left them in your book bag.
What was great was that when we came over to him, how endearing the guy was, and how like, oh yeah, come over.
Yeah.
And then like, he immediately starts signing our stuff, and I'm like, I don't want to pay for Jerry Only's thing, but he gave it to us on the cuff.
On the cuff, and he was like, "Excuse me, guys, I got to take this picture." And it was a picture of like three little kids who probably just liked him because he was dressed like a monster.
Yeah, that's crazy. And also, we had a bathroom encounter with him also, where he was, you already left, but he's in there like, he's like, I gotta clean myself up. Mm-hmm. No Freddy Krueger's here, huh? No Freddy Krueger's.
I did have a bathroom encounter with him where he was like, makeup on straight.
No Freddy Krueger's.
He was looking for Freddy Krueger.
He's wanted Freddy Krueger.
There was a couple of good Freddy Kruegers there. There was like one lame,
a bunch of bad ones too.
Yeah.
Was he by himself?
Yeah, he had a couple of other dudes from like other bands. I think
I think there were a couple more misfits on over the weekend.
Nobody knew.
Yeah, but he was there. He was a trooper, and he was a really nice dude.
Super nice dude.
Who's the other Jerry?
Jerry the King Lawler.
Ooh, that's so cool.
I'm not gonna throw the guy under the bus or anything. I feel like he had the worst spot in the universe. Like he was in like the wig section of the convention, and I think they gave him like an extra small table. So when you walk by him, you don't see him.
Yeah.
They gave Hacksaw like a space, and I actually talked to him a little bit on Sunday. He wouldn't do the word association, but he was hoeing like nobody's business. He's also like 7 feet tall.
No, he's a gigantic dude, man.
It was.
He just had bad
cool.
posture back in the day. That's why he didn't look as big as some of the other dudes. But he was tremendous.
That guy was gigantic.
I met him once, I think, in like the late '80s, and I think I couldn't believe how big that guy was.
And you were like still the same height, right?
Yeah, still the same height. I don't know, Cherry had no excuse, man. Aside from his seeing arrangement or whatever, he could have been. You're there to meet people. That's the like. If you're gonna sit behind the booth, your job is to meet people.
Yeah.
Don't be a.
You know what I think it is, man?
Schmo.
I think it's.
We'll talk to more sex criminals.
The Sarge was there also one of the days, and like he looked bored as hell.
He was in full regalia too, right?
Yeah. No, you know why? Because these dudes, like, it's great. Like if you're a wrestling fan, absolutely. But like, you're in a position where it's like, I'm going to charge you $20 for a picture of me. Yeah. Like for you to take a picture on your camera with me, it's going to cost you $20.
Yeah. And
a normal person who's not a wrestling fan is going to say like,
well, just walk by and we'll take our pictures.
Who are you?
Yeah.
And like, what are you doing here?
Well, because also there's so much to see and so much to do. It's really overwhelming at Comic-Con. And I think most people are going to walk by and Sergeant Slaughter has a booth there. Like you're walking by like, oh man, look, Sergeant Slaughter, carry on with your day.
Right. Like,
or take a long distance shot of Sergeant Slaughter.
Sweet G.I. Joe.
Sweet G.I. Joe.
Mm-hmm. But I'm sure there are people Who would you who if it was any wrestler that you not would you but if you had to drop dough on, who would it be?
Well, I'll tell you where I wouldn't.
Okay.
Virgil.
No.
Who would I drop money on?
Bobo Brazil.
Bobo Brazil.
The resurrected Bobo Brazil.
Pay money. I wouldn't pay money to see really anybody.
You had to though.
I had to pay.
Bret Hart.
It's like Brewster's Millions. You had to.
Not Bret Hart.
Jim
Who's at
the
the
Anvil
con?
Neidhart.
Austin?
Yeah.
Muda, maybe.
Yeah.
Undertaker.
Absolutely.
Austin Undertaker. Muda. I would.
Fit Finley.
Fit Finley. I would like to talk to. I would like to have a beer with Fit Finley.
Yeah.
And get some weirdo stories.
I've met Foley 3 times, and each time completely free.
Completely what?
Like every signing he did like back in the day,
He's
he
a
was
darling.
just like, take a picture with me. Here, let me sign some stuff. Cool.
It's a New York Times bestseller, bro.
Yeah, he's got that New York Times money.
You got that.
Like he sold the most New York
And he's
Times
a
newspaper.
New Jack. New Jack.
And he's. I've met New Jack plenty of times.
I feel like you'd pay to see New Jack. You'd give him $10.
Maybe $5.
I went to McDonald's with New Jack. I will never pay to see New Jack.
What are you eating? Cheeseburgers? Eating cheeseburgers out of Allen's book bag.
Cheeseburger Island. But it was a fun
Alan the
experience.
grown-up.
It was a fun experience. I mean, I still think it's exhausting. I think it's completely draining.
I think I drain your energy when we're walking together.
Well, like it was
love it.
It was you love it. Like it was funny when we got there on Saturday. I felt like before we got there, I was like, I feel great. It's a great day. It's beautiful out.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome little Walking Dead exhibit. Walk over, and then as soon as I walk in, I see the throngs of people. I'm like, oh, I immediately just like all the energy's gone. And while I'm thinking that, you come up to me and you're like this. Yo, I just walked in here, saw all these people, and I just got energized. So like we're on 2 totally different spectrums.
2 totally different wailers
Yeah.
at Comic-Con. I was like, it's getting me pumped. It's getting me jacked right now.
No, not getting jacked.
I love it. Comic-Con was good. There was a lot of cool stuff. No DC booth, which I think they did. Like people were saying, like, oh, it's a budget thing, blah blah. Bull S word.
S word.
I tell you that. The thing. DC's based in New York, so for them not to have an office like a setup like 10 blocks away is ridiculous. I think they didn't want to deal with the fan flack.
No, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, because they knew they wanted to. Well, the one thing they did talk about was the Stephanie Brown thing that she's showing up in.
Yeah.
It's the one thing they always end up talking about. Like, oh, Stephanie Brown coming back. And so they finally said Stephanie Brown's going to show up in some capacity in this new Batman thing.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, I think that was the one thing they wanted to throw the bone to them. Is like, look, we're not so bad. They got Stephanie Brown.
Oh, he's coming at it. Where's Adam Strange? He's dead.
Speaking of installations, no Adam Strange. Installations. Image has such a machine
Oh yeah.
of a booth.
Mm-hmm.
Like that place is pumping.
Center booth, gigantic. They got their own closet space. I think they probably have a porta potty in there too.
I think they have everything inside because there's not a lot going on. Like it's all on the outer rims of it, but the centerpiece is so tremendous.
Yep.
As all it is advertisement. All
Yeah.
it is gigantic billboards for Walking Dead and all their books.
Yeah.
And then it's just like T-shirts and everything, and they just draw it in because they have gigantic Walking Dead crap over
You
there.
can see Invincible from the other side of the Javits.
It is
Center.
one of the biggest things. That was really big, and the Marvel the Marvel booth. We don't really go near too often because it's always completely swamped.
Because Marvel's booth is always swamped, and it's a weird setup because it's set up like a panel, and it's like it's got like
you gotta
the
walk
desks
into it,
and and like the little weird freebies, and you never know who's signing because they're right there.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And then you'll see like a line, kind of like of 50 people.
Plus, it's like in the center room where they have all the big installations.
Mm-hmm.
It's very difficult to. I don't have patience for this crap.
Right.
So like, once I see a line, I immediately want to avoid that line.
Mm-hmm.
And that whole area is kind of like a big crisscross of
lines.
people waiting online for stuff. And like, I think it was worse on Thursday because everyone that had a 4-day pass was trying to get their exclusive that day.
Yeah.
And it was, but when you saw like Saturday, it was just big snaking lines going everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
And we don't even go down to the panel rooms or anything like that.
Yeah.
We never have an opportunity for it.
Yeah. I mean, I think this year we didn't really miss much. I mean, like the Marvel announcements, which like
Yeah.
you immediately looked up on your phone.
That's the thing is like, I think when we first started doing this, I think there was a general interest to try and make it to that thing. But
Right.
between the lines of trying to get in there was a huge fight that broke out at one of them.
Really?
With a retailer, an exhibitor, and
A fan.
no, one of the people that work in,
At
at
Javits?
Javits, and because he was like trying to sit in the VIP section and
Great.
he's like, I will show you later. And he like, he grabbed the kid's back of his neck and showed him his phone, his confirmation for whatever.
Wow.
But we never go. There was one thing I wanted to go because of my mom, because my mom's a huge fan of this book, Outlander.
Right.
It's about this woman who time travels to like the Scotch Highlands in medieval times, and they're making a TV show out of it. What's his name from Battlestar Galactica?
Christopher Lambert.
No, the guy from Battlestar Galactica, Ronald Moore.
Okay.
He's making the show for Stars, so they had a panel for that. That was the one thing I was going to see for as a favor, but that was the day I was really hungover to your bachelor party.
And that you stayed home.
Stayed home.
Stayed home covered in pizza.
And did I get pizza?
I don't know. I imagine you were eating a lot of pizza that day.
I probably got pizza. It was a good day for pizza.
Yeah.
It's a good day for pizza.
Yeah, we ended up going and then going out again after we went to the Headless Horseman downtown, meet the fiance, tell her about the day.
Oh, yeah.
She got jealous that we met Jerry Only. Ha ha. You missed
Really?
out.
She got jealous of the Only?
She loves Misfits.
Pants on.
I got a question for you. Yaya Han, how old do you think she is?
I am going to say upwards in 45.
I'll say close to 40. Yaya Han, one of the, she's arguably the most famous current cosplayer.
Well, she's tied with somebody. She's tied with Jessica Najiri.
Okay.
Who's another
I met a ton of cosplayers over the weekend, and I got their business cards, and then I went on Facebook, and then I friended all of them. And then when you do that, it tells you to friend all these other cosplayers, which is completely nuts, because now if you're a cute girl who knows how to make a costume, or a dude who knows how to make a costume, you can make a living being a cosplayer.
Yeah. Well, we talked a great deal of how weird the cosplay thing has become.
It's not even. I don't think it's eclipsing now, because when the convention first started, you'd go in and Thursdays they'd be no costumes, and then Friday you'd get a few, and then Saturday was always the costume contest, and boom, right? Yeah. But they weren't as elaborate as they are now. Like I was telling you, in the car, you would get the dude wearing the Coors Light box Iron Man armor, who could also be a ROM if he didn't paint it, or dudes like that, who wore the one pieces and were just hey, why not? I'm dressing like Hellboy. I'm doing it. Who cares? Captain Jack's, all nothing elaborate.
No more Captain Jack's, thank God.
Now it's so elaborate that you can find any costume, and they're good costumes, man. All my if you guys go out and check out facebook.com/behindthecountergfq, you'll see the 500 pictures I took this weekend of everybody in costume, right? Not for nothing, 90% of those people have amazing costumes.
Absolutely.
If you go back a few years and see my older pictures from a few years ago, you will see the stark difference between cosplay then and cosplay now.
Check out we were at the Penn Plaza all the time and we see people dress up. It was a different world.
Yeah, it was a completely different world. You'd get somebody cut a hole in a sock and he was Spider-Man.
Yeah, well, San Diego used to get all the big attention towards that. I think when New York came over here, it opened up this whole thing. And we were talking about at length how whenever we'd shoot anything with somebody, they were handing us a card for us to tag them, where it is that industry level thing. Or
Prometheus on Blu-ray.
Yeah, usually when you take a picture of somebody, it's just make sure you do this hashtag. Wonder Woman hashtag, she's cool. But the problem with that is the kind of there's a certain entitlement coming now, because now there's because I understand, we know that they're talented, we know they're they know what the hell they're doing, but now because of did you ever watch that cosplay thing with Yaya Han and Jessica? You should watch it. Please. I sat through one episode, but see how they talk to each other and how serious they take it.
Oh no, it's like this.
Yeah, it's oh no, you don't do that in cosplay.
It's a little weird. Cosplay. I appreciate it and I love it. I think it's great. It's always been one of my favorite parts of Comic-Con.
Vamp event me. I know the Filipinos did, but
yeah. So the number two thing about the cosplay is I said this at least 3 times over the weekend, is that the people who organize it, Reed Expo, should come up with some kind of algorithm to figure out your percentage of people who are going to cosplay and your percentage of that percentage who's going to dress up in a 3-person costume but be 1 person. Yeah. For example, the guy walking around with a Doctor Who phone booth. He's inside the phone booth. He's walking around. That's 4 spaces. That's 4 people. Yeah. He's taking away traffic from 3 other people who could be walking around.
Or the gigantic Dr. Octopus that we saw.
The gigantic Doc Ock. The dudes who do the anime, dude with the big cross sword.
Yeah.
And anybody with a sword that's your height, you should be charged twice.
Yeah. Well, and also the handler people that are weird too.
That have the business cards and have the purse.
So Wonder Woman had the press guy who had the crappy press hat, and then there's they had that the Injustice Flash, who's a regular dude in a really cool Flash costume.
Brought his family,
and he brought his family with him, and then one guy pokes his head. I was I'm the handler. Where's it gonna be at? Where's it gonna be?
That's true. Yeah, I forgot all about that. Because I'll snap a picture and kind of walk away.
Yeah. And the girls are one thing. Like, I can understand they need to have like a pimp / handler to handle like, press or whatever they're doing or whatever they're promoting, figure out it's going to the right places. But then there's the guy. I don't know why the guys would have it. Like, you can't handle your own crap of like, handing out business cards and taking business cards.
If Frankie and I and Andrew, also shout out to those dudes who helped me on Sunday. We ran across an awesome saber tooth.
Oh, that's amazing.
You saw him, right?
Yeah.
If you, again, facebook.com/behind the counter GFQ, you'll see all these pictures. This dude, amazing, like Jim Lee Sabretooth costume.
The sideburns and the eyebrows.
He was tremendous.
Yeah.
He had the fangs too.
Black dude, right?
Yeah.
He looks so freaking good.
And
that's my favorite Sabretooth costume also. The big collar and everything.
I imagine there were a lot of Heisenbergs.
There was a lot of Heisenbergs.
So many, dude. Yeah, so many.
But that dude, he had a completely skin tight costume. You know what he did? All his stuff was in his gloves.
It's a good idea.
Just like slid him out in and out, and that's it. You had a little belt, pop, boom. Yeah. That's it. I got my wallet in here. But I get it. Like if I dress like He-Man or something, and I'm with you next year, you got to carry all my crap.
Yeah.
All I'm wearing is like the little puby loincloth, and that's it. Balls everywhere. The thing that you kind of, which is, I don't want to get into it too much because it's not that I think it's ridiculous. I think it's like it's going to implode on itself, like a lot of things do in the comic world. One of the best quotes I heard from a cosplayer was, she told us a story. This is on Sunday. She told us a story about how somebody interviewed her and dropped their microphone down her cleavage and said, "Let's start the interview," and which is just wrong on so many levels. And she was like, I told him, listen, man, like cosplay is not consent, which is, I feel like, something that a lot of people have to learn, especially now.
Yeah.
Because like I said, back in the day when you had the one or two people dressed in costumes, they'd get mobbed by all the creeps. But because there were so many creeps, you didn't have your FaceTime.
Yeah.
Now that there's so many people in costume, you can sneak away and see like some chick dressed like a sexy Pikachu, and then be like, hey, what about this? What about that? Can I step on your head for like 5 minutes? That's what I'm into. Like it's weird.
Yeah. and it's also there's a bigger gap now because now a lot of those people are vocal. Yeah. A lot of the cosplay guys are very vocal, and they're very proud of their profession, what they're doing, and to have like this guy's like he's breaking the rules, like.
Yeah, it's
the unnamed rules.
The unwritten rules of I'll give you a perfect example. I'm not going to name names or anything, but I know a guy who knows a guy who I've met and
whom we may have talked to,
who may be associated with a very close friend of mine. Not associated in an underhanded way.
Associated.
But the dude is he's on the regular a sportscaster. He's a sports guy. So when you put a sports guy,
Brian Gumbel,
Brian Gumbel. When you put a New York sports guy, when you put a New York sports guy, like a hardcore New York sports guy, in the middle of that, especially with chicks in costume and a camera crew, like there's a disconnect of, hey, I never been here before. What do I do? Let me do this. Boom. Hey, girl, who you? And it got weird. And unfortunately, that guy got a shitstorm thrown his way over the weekend.
He asked for it.
Yeah, I think so. But I also think that, like you said, with the sense of entitlement, I also think that it's a little too much. I get it, but I don't think Comic-Con is the place for feminism.
Nope. We've talked about this a great deal.
Yeah,
I think I don't know. There's always the danger of I don't know. You're dressing a certain way, and I'm not saying you're asking for anything, but don't be surprised. You're going to encourage certain reactions from certain people who are not on the same level that you are mentally.
Right.
Not talking about your status. They are coming with a different idea. You are coming in an obviously sexualized matter.
Right. You got to worry about the base level.
Yeah, the base level is very much a big thing on that con floor.
Yeah,
and not for nothing, these girls are if you are half naked, you have to take into account that there's going to be some people that are going to, that you're going to be embarrassed by.
Absolutely.
It's not a perfect world.
Even people I think in costume are harassing other people in costume.
Oh, hell yeah. Well, there's beef between all those guys.
It's weird too. And like, I always feel like, it's a different, there's such a gray area now when it comes to this with the cosplay and all that, do you think a cosplayer feels safe once they get into the walls of Comic-Con, and then all of a sudden when something like this happens, it kind of gets a little like blown up where they're like, this is supposed to be the safe place.
Yes.
Whereas like every single year, and this is one of my favorite parts of it, like we like I know you feel the same way, that we grew up in New York and we live in New York. Can't get enough of that old New York razzie, you know, especially from the construction workers when you're walking from Penn Station to the Javits Center. And there's always construction going on.
This is our favorite time of the year.
And then when you get these dudes who are just like, hey, buddy, what's going on here? You got some kind of sci-fi thing happening? Hey, little girl, why don't you sit on my face? You know? Yeah. And like you get that like 10 times a day from these guys who are just like
awesome.
Blue-collar dudes, and like forget it's Comic-Con every year, don't have kids probably, you know, and they see like these chicks dressed like different outer space. And they go, maybe dudes too, and they go a little overboard, you know?
Well, that's where the feminism thing comes in. Like, why should they have the right to be, you know, get away with, you know, catcalling or anything? But
yeah.
You're going to get it.
I get catcalls all the time.
Hell yeah.
Do you?
Yeah. Construction works all the time. Hoot and holler at me.
Beautiful hair, bro.
Yeah,
hey, look at them legs.
Look at that hair circle around that mouth.
Did you walk around in a Speedo when you're in the city?
Hair circle. One of my favorite moments of Comic-Con was when we were about to interview that guy, Thanos.
Yes.
They're really good Thanos. I saw the guy he talked about, that his competition.
Yeah.
All he did was he had a big bushy beard and he just
curl it purple.
All purple.
There was two Thani.
Yeah.
Two female Galactuses, dude. Continue with the
So before we had to interview this guy, this like Asian dude comes out, he's taking pictures of him, and like he's got like a whatever he's holding around his neck or whatever, some type of
it's a battery pack.
It's a battery pack around, and he has like a post-it note on it. It says, you know, a web address or at like, you know, Tony's Kitchen or something like that.
If I fall asleep, call this number.
Yeah, but it's saying basically where you can find this stuff.
Right.
And, Thanos asked him like, what, you know, where's this going? He's like, oh, it's for my personal thing. It's like I love Thanos, and it goes, and then he started talking. I was listening to this guy, and he started talking about like, oh, you know, I feel like Thanos Quest is like good, but they need to go back and redo it and do like some good art, like, you know, Pat Loika and like you know, like these anime artists like have like a more of an anime feel. And like the Thanos Rising came out recently. I really didn't like it because it made him like really obsessed with death, and he was also like very thin when they drew him as a boy, and he should have always been like this big like hulking guy. And like I didn't like the fact that the mother like tried to kill him, because I think it would have been better if the mother was more of a sexual creature.
That's weird, man.
And like he was really like he knew exactly.
I should have recorded that.
And I went like I mean like my brain was just going. I was just like I just like want to tell him how wrong he is, and like I'm like that's how I turned to you. I was like, oh, like yo, who drew you know, Thanos Quest?
Ron Lim.
It's Jim Starlin.
It
was a double bill on that stuff. And like you go back and look at that stuff, and some of this, it's still beautiful.
It's great, yeah.
And it's beautifully painted.
It ain't anime though, bro.
But what's amazing is that is a common mentality. And that's kind of like it's a feature I want to do this when we were there, but we didn't do. Is learning everyone's dream story.
Yeah.
And like the way that their idea of what comics are and what the ideal story for them is. And this dude is definitely into Thanos, and definitely has a majorly reworked version. We should have got this guy on camera. This is such a missed opportunity.
Well, I'm sure he'll be there next year.
We should have asked him like this, like, pitch me your best Thanos story.
And then it's revealed that I'm Thanos.
And then I'm Thanos. Well, that was like, there was a guy we used to work with that when I first met him, we were talking, went out for a few drinks, and he was like, oh yeah, you know, I have this X-Men story in my mind where it's like, and then they reveal Wolverine is this guy, and then these people get together and they finally have sex, and everything is revealed, and then apocalypse. And
that's one of my favorite things about working at the store is like people who would pitch us their comic book ideas, and
I got a great idea.
It would always have like, and then there's a guy, but you know what? He's got like Wolverine claws.
Wolverine claws, guy.
Every he's got a tongue like Venom. Every dude pitches the same two characters.
That it would be great if there's actually we did make comics of this, and like the whole comic where everyone's slowly revealing they have Wolverine claws like,
and Venom tongue.
Guess what? I got Wolverine claws and Venom tongue too, bro.
But he's got them also. Oh, I got two.
And he's got this liquid like metal that goes over his body. It's always moving.
He looks like Goro from Mortal Kombat, but guess what? 4 arms, Wolverine claws,
and they all have swords. 6 arms holding swords and Wolverine claws.
It was a fun convention. I made it to Artist Alley on Sunday.
How was that?
It was nice. You know what? I feel like next year I gotta roll in there with a ton of dough so I can buy some prints. There's a lot of beautiful stuff going on.
Stuff. These guys need the money.
A lot of I think some of Ralphie's boys bought some cool stuff. I saw a print of Soundwave holding up John Cusack. Like,
that's pretty
like,
cool.
Say anything.
Oh, right on.
You know, there's some cool stuff out there, man.
It's an unusual. I think they enjoy being away from like the shitstorm of the main floor.
Yeah, yeah.
And also, I was really incredible. I'm still like kind of blown away how much space that Intel bought. Like the
club.
Yeah, Intel spent so much money. It was like the Thunderdome, and it had a race car. It had a stage. It had a club, a DJ booth.
It had a bunch of dudes playing Warcraft.
They had a gigantic LAN party. They had a competitive LAN party area. They had displays. If you touch a computer, they told you you can play with the computer. And they ensure that you can play the computer later on.
That we stood in front of a computer for 2 seconds. And the guy was like, "Yo, if you guys want to log on and play right now, you can play the demo and just hang out here for like a couple hours."
Turn around.
You know, we were like, "Thanks, dude. See you later." My dad was like, I feel bad for the dad whose kid plays video games all day, and then he's like, "Oh, you going to the Javits Center this weekend? Oh, nice. You know, like finally he's gonna get to walk around. He's not gonna stare at a screen all day." And as soon as we got there early on, like, was it Saturday?
Yeah.
And there's dudes just like clicking away at a LAN party that they could be doing at home.
They were Minecrafting. You know? They were all doing the heavy Minecraft, and there was StarCraft tournament going on the whole weekend long,
which is pretty awesome. There's one dude, like the master guy, who was in like his own booth.
Yeah.
He's like the unbeatable champion of StarCraft.
Well, he left. He announced that he's leaving StarCraft now. He's going on to the League of Heroes.
Too much. It's too much.
The League of Heroes.
But it was great. I love Comic-Con. We're going to have something.
I love Comic-Con.
I apologize to any cosplayer who took the card, expected to see something edited today, but give it a couple of weeks. You know, we're going to have something nice and special for you.
We'll have it by Sunday.
Tomorrow. Just everything unedited. We're just going to give it to Andrew. Let's talk about that Walking Dead premiere and how I hated it.
You know what? And here's the thing. Like, I was busy and I missed the first like 5 to 10 minutes of it. And
listen, did you see it? Did you re-see it?
The beginning of
it?
No, I didn't see the beginning of it.
The beginning of it was the best part, and you missed the best part. It was Rick farming with headphones on.
Oh yeah.
And it was like, you know, you have like the music's playing.
What music was it playing?
I forgot. It was just like maybe like some country kind of rock and roll stuff. He walks out, you know, he sees like the field of like stuff they're growing. He's like checking the land. He's like,
all right,
good stuff. And then, you know, he's like digging. He's digging. He's had his headphones in, and then he pops one out, and the music fades, and he looks behind him, and it's the entire fence of zombies just like yelling at him, and one in particular for some reason who is just like really screaming at Rick, and he's like looks at them, he looks back at the farm, puts his headphones in. And like it goes back to the music, so it's like, all right, cool, you know, like awesome Rick bit, and then it starts, and that was the best part of it because everything went completely downhill from there.
You know,
2 downhills.
I had no expectations for this show.
Mm-hmm.
I voiced my opinion on this friggin' show, and I kind of liked it, basically because of the middle part.
When they fell through the roof,
I thought it was a great little Zion moment. Do I think these characters are going anywhere? Are they doing anything interesting? Are they? The thing with the chick, you know, the leading her to the forest thing was okay. Great. I think Rick's gotten a little bit better.
Yeah.
I still don't really like him.
You know what? I really dig him. They can't get enough of him leveling a gun at something.
Yeah,
that's their go-to. Like, have him do this.
And like you said before, like the Daryl stuff is him as Han Solo is not that great.
He's Han Solo. You know what kills me, man? Like they're writing. I don't know if I mentioned this to you. I may have mentioned this to Stoops. Also, shout out to Stoops. He was hung out with him at the Comic-Con for a little bit too. A lot of our friends were there.
Yeah.
That they're writing the show for the fans now.
Yeah,
that's what it feels like.
It's wish fulfillment a lot. Well, the guy who's now running the show, he's the one that did most of the really good episodes with the standalones, but it's just so uneven. It never the beginnings of the seasons never feel really natural. Yeah. Because it's like, oh, here's the new characters or whatever, and like, yeah, you don't want to spend time like really introducing them or anything. But it doesn't feel like anything. It just kind of feels like just going through the motions.
It feels like that. It also feels like it's kind of like, I feel like it's losing the point and it's turning into like a schlocky.
It's always
kind of like Tromaville.
It's always been schlocky
horror thing. I was high on the schlock on this one. You know why? The middle part, I agree with you. Awesome zombie stuff, but to get there, I don't think so, man. Like, I would have much rather had, and again, this is my opinion. I'm a fan, whatever, like, I don't know what goes on behind the scenes. And I always try to be positive about whatever I watch, but like, this just got me. The dude from The Wire, who we got 2 guys on The Wire, from The Wire on the show now.
Yeah.
That dude,
D'Angelo.
He picks up the bottle because he's an alcoholic. Clearly, he's an alcoholic.
Yeah,
and
he says he was going to go for the bottle.
He's like shaking and goes for the bottle. And then he puts it back, and then it just like falls on him. And then all of a sudden, now like the roof starts to cave in, right? Yeah. I would have much rather.
I like the wet roof though.
Right.
Yeah, no, I like the whole roof like corroding.
And there's a helicopter on it and all that. I would have much rather him knock the shelf into another shelf that hit a beam or something to kind of loosen something, and then have them fall through instead of just like.
Well, the sound thing was kind of cool.
Coincidence
that they were all like gathering around this one area that they heard the sound.
Mm-hmm.
What I don't get about the show is, see, on paper you can argue about the comic book being repetitive in terms of like, oh, it's a lot of times is they're going out, they're foraging for food, they're doing their runs, anything. It feels so friggin' boring and routine on the show, but in the comic it always feels so much better.
Yeah,
I mean, because the comic does do everything much better than it does on the TV show.
Yeah. But there's such a big difference now. They're not even comparable as a story anymore. They're 2 completely separate things, and now you're going to get a third separate thing with the new series that's going to debut at some point.
That's the one that actually may be good.
Yeah,
as a weird like anthology show. But the mini episodes they do online are terrible.
Yeah,
they're always so terrible.
It's
Did you watch that thing I sent you, the honest trailer for Walking Dead?
No,
it's so bad. Like it goes through all the seasons and really shows you like the ridiculous crap that these people do. I'm not feeling it. Like I'm really
same here. I may stop watching it, but I feel like I can't. I'm obligated.
I feel like I'm
obligated. What also got me, which was completely like just I don't know if are they trolling the fans like us, or like they'll throw things in there like, oh, they're gonna hate this. The scene with Daryl and Herschel's other daughter. Herschel's got a leg now, which is also nuts.
Yeah.
That he fashioned out of wood.
Yeah.
Herschel's other daughter, where he's like, I just don't want to be sad anymore, or whatever the shit he said.
She got that shitty sign in her room.
Did he say that? Did he say that? He was like, I just don't want to be sad anymore.
I just don't want to think about it no more. Miss Merle, miss your boyfriend.
So Google Doll's haircut never died.
He is Google Dolls.
And I wish at the other part, which just for the comedy value, if it was like, what'd you do before the whole thing happened? I got it. Like a police detective. He's like, nope, racist, drug dealing slime bag. Have you met my brother yet? He's a piece of garbage. He's a complete piece of garbage. Mm-hmm. The wings on the jacket are ridiculous too. You don't like him?
I hate it.
I don't mind that.
No.
The angel's wings broke. He's going to heaven.
I think they're getting them out of prison sooner than later.
Okay.
They showed promotional pictures of Abraham coming up this season, and the guy they got from, I like the guy a lot.
Who is that dude?
You know if you saw him. Yeah. I mean, the thing that comes. Do you ever see?
They cast Eugene too, right?
Yeah. They had both of them. They didn't show Eugene yet though. They said who the actor was. You ever see Grosse Point Blank?
No. I want to say yes, but I don't remember. I did see it. I don't remember.
I would get a little minutia on you with the Grosse Point Blank.
You love that movie?
I love the movie, but I'm saying there's one guy in that movie who's playing Abraham, but he's a small part.
Is the dude from Fanboys playing Eugene?
No, I don't know.
We saw him on Saturday.
I'm complaining about trying to get in.
And
I have all his art.
I thought he was gonna get mobbed, but nobody gave a crap.
No one cares about that guy.
I figured people would care about that.
He looks like vomit. He looks like there's constantly vomit.
Looks like he's made of mashed potatoes.
He looks like a piece of soft serve ice cream.
Yeah, I've been dying.
Who had the mashed potato line?
Eastbound and Down. It's your wife. Your wife looks like a sack of mashed potatoes.
That season's so good.
Also,
you gotta catch up on Sons, man. You really.
I know.
Yeah, I was watching. My father called me. He's like, that was so good. It was so good.
You guys in the same house, though, right?
Yeah. He does. He calls me. CCH Pounder has an awesome thing in it too.
She's great. I really want her to be Claudette.
I think they might actually do something with that.
Really?
Yeah.
That she's gonna be like Claudette's sister.
Just watch, man.
Oh man, this is what I've been waiting for.
This
for 6 seasons of the motorcycle show.
Remember when you got really excited about like Sons of Anarchy back in the day when there were still like vigilantes and like
Kinda, yeah.
Yeah, like when there was still some soul left in these people. They weren't just heartless murderers. This is an awesome episode.
They were cool, like when they were cool outlaws.
Yeah, and big Bobby Elvis episode.
Yeah,
nice,
man, nice.
It's good.
I can't wait.
You missed last week's also too.
I know. I got two weeks of Sons of Anarchy to catch up on. And now that mentioned soft serve ice cream, I've been dying to eat ice cream all week. I don't know why.
I just want to eat a big pizza.
Oh man, I want a big pizza too. Let's talk about stuff we want to eat. What do you want to eat?
I could really go for a pizza. I can go for a pastrami sandwich right now.
Oh yeah,
pastrami sandwich at Press is ridiculous. Have you had this?
I've not had the pastrami.
Oh my god,
good.
I had it delivered the other day. I was doing work at the house, and they delivered this incredible pastrami with like I think melted Swiss on it too, and mustard. It was just
sounds good,
heavenly.
I made a protein mega sandwich today.
Oh yeah, meatballs wrapped in ham, broiled
cheeseburger, sunny side up egg, avocado, cheddar cheese on a whole wheat bagel.
Oh yeah, that sounds pretty good.
It was oof.
This morning I was in Koreatown, and you know Paris Baguette.
Oh yeah,
they have a competitor, another French named Korean place. Which is really weird. Two Slavu, whatever it's called.
Two Slavu. Zootalours.
Yeah. They had for breakfast, and they tell you like on the when it was baked and when it came out of the oven, it was 2 slices of milk bread, ham in the middle, cheese melted like a grilled cheese sandwich, and then cheese melted on top with like a little bit of greenery. So it wasn't but it wasn't like heavy or anything like that. It was good.
Did you come and steal Andrew's cheese?
Boy, has no cheese.
Did you see all my cheese?
Did you see the picture of him covered in a cheese blanket?
Oh yes. Guys, we're not having any cheese right now. Hook up the cheese.
I ate it all.
That was one day. That's one day of cheese.
I'm literally almost all done with the cheese.
Oh, it's disgusting. I saw the cubes on the.
Do you eat them with crackers?
No, with wine.
That's nice.
Wine.
I just dunk it in the wine.
You know what you do? You do the cheese and wine. Do you do the cheese and the sopressat and wine?
No.
Ooh, that's good.
That's good, dude.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm just literally taking bricks of cheese and dunking it in wine, just eating
so
like.
good.
I think we keep it congruent. I think that's something a comic fan would do.
Yeah. I think so.
Let's talk comics. What'd you like this week? Yeah, we got 20 minutes left.
I enjoyed it. I enjoyed comic books this week. What was a big one?
Bloodhound. For us, at least, that was a big one.
I was so surprised to see it come up on my list. I was like, yes, I need to track down the Dark Horse Present comics that have the lead-in to the story.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like, to give people a background, like, Bloodhound came out in DC, was it 2003? 2005?
Was it that?
2005. Almost 10 years ago.
Who was the writer? Jolie? Dan Jolie?
Yeah, Dan Jolie. And it was about a superpowered...
who's the artist?
Kirkman? No, Leonard Kirk.
Leonard Kirk, yeah. He's awesome.
But it's about a superpowered criminal who is on work release, basically, who has to work with the FBI, if I'm not wrong.
Yeah.
Chasing down other superpowered criminals.
But he's not superpowered. He's the bad dude. He's the baddest dude out there.
Doesn't he? He has superhuman strength.
I don't think so, dude.
No, he does, because he would have been killed by that dude in this issue.
He's just tough.
Remember? No, he's superpowered. But he's got a collar to keep him in check. It blows his head off.
I'm pretty sure in the opening draw it says he's a superpowered supervillain.
I think you're wrong. Check it out. So this is the continuation of a story. It was ongoing. It was an ongoing, and this is like chapter 11, basically picking up where the DC run left off in 2006, I believe, and it's 2013. It's pretty nuts. Same creative team, same art team. In the back of the comic, it tells you kind of like the story of how they got to Dark Horse, which is kind of a cool thing.
Yeah.
Did you see the comic book superhero special on PBS Tuesday night?
No, I heard about it. And they're streaming online now too.
Because a swamp rat in the chat room just asked us.
A swamp rat?
Directly. No, swamp rat.
Oh. The swamp rat.
The swamp rat.
2004 was Bloodhound.
Okay. And it ended in 2005.
Yeah. It's cool that they're going to be reprinting all those. I'm going to grab those.
It's a good book. I mean, like, it's a Dark Horse #1 now. It's really interesting if you want something kind of like not from the norm that was kind of forgotten about by DC and then like canceled. I really liked the issue. I thought it was a very strong issue.
I think it's a great name too, Clevenger.
Mm-hmm.
Clevenger and Saffron Bell.
Yep.
It's just, you know what it is? I would love to focus on like mid 2000s DC because of how much weird crap was out at the time.
Absolutely.
And it was so much good stuff, but this type of book would never be published in DC today, ever.
No.
Because it didn't deal with regular DC crap.
Mm-mm.
It was very much a book you'd see in like Image or something like that.
Standalone superhero book, man.
Absolutely,
really cool stuff.
But they were willing to do stuff like that back then.
Mm-hmm.
That's when they had that Kinetic and Hard Times. So like that. Hard Times is
phenomenal.
Is a book that should be regarded as a classic.
Yeah, even that's when they were taking weird like steps, even with the Vertigo stuff. Like around that time, you had
they're trying to migrate away from Vertigo and put it more in the mainstream.
I think you had Capers around the same time from Vertigo. You had originals like from Dave Gibbons, like the hardcover,
yeah.
And you had the what's his name? The dude in the wheelchair, the rapper.
No powers.
No powers.
No powers. Just really good tracking people.
Who was the dude in the wheelchair?
The dude in the wheelchair. Oh, I think that was Kinetic. Wasn't it Kinetic?
No. The biography of the rapper that was put out by DC.
MF Grimm.
MF Grimm. Yeah. Which is also really good stuff.
Yeah.
You know, that DC will never like put stuff out. Like right now, the landscape is so
there's not
finite.
Enough. Yeah, well, because they're spending all their money on their mainstream books now. There's nothing really being diverged to their weird projects, like some like originals or like something that's published strictly for hardcover. The closest chance they're taking is with the Sandman Overture stuff.
Yeah,
that's the only thing that's kind of like out of the norm for them because they're focusing so much attention on that stuff.
I really dug Batman from last week. I don't know about you.
I did also. Mm-hmm. I read Dio's birthday was last week.
Okay.
And at Comic, he did an interview, I think, for USA Today, and how much he disliked Grant Morrison's run on Batman.
Really?
Yeah.
You guys, you think a retcon's coming?
No. I think they're doing enough of that in regular Batman universe, like the stuff they did with the end of the Red Hood storyline.
Yeah.
What's funny is like I like the way that Snyder kind of refuses to put anything in concrete. Mm-hmm. Every one of his storylines are always like, maybe he was that guy, maybe he wasn't this guy.
Maybe it was the Joker.
Maybe it was the Joker, maybe it wasn't the Joker. I like to believe he wasn't the Joker.
I'd like to believe that he was the Joker.
I think at the end, well, obviously when he gets put into the
right,
the ooze, I don't think that. I think the guy before that was not the Joker. Right, because I like the idea of this guy being a schmo who, was at the wrong place at the wrong time. They put him in his helmet and they sent him off and do his job.
Like the original kind of
the Killing Jokes. Like, I love the Killing Joke story.
Yeah. See, I like the I kind of like this if this is the case where like he kills the actual leader and then kind of becomes like this maniac.
Yeah.
And then kind of like it kind of bites him in the ass when he goes up against Batman. And it's awesome the way they did the purple gloves.
Oh, his costume was fantastic.
And 25-year-old Bruce Wayne, why not sport the crew cut? Real cool stuff. And then it ends with the Riddler debut.
I had no idea this was going to be this long of a storyline.
Yeah.
It's broken into 3 parts. I thought it was awesome. And the Capullo and Snyder really know how to put together a book. You didn't read Batman and Robin this week, right? The Batman Two-Face book?
No.
They totally retconned his past.
Really? What did they say?
Did you read the Two-Face standalone thing? So like they're going after this criminal. It's Erin, this like redhead, like Irish chick is back in town. Mm-hmm. She's like an old criminal. When he was DA, she kills Gilda, his wife. So no Long Halloween didn't happen. Mm-hmm. And she pours a thing of acid over his face to see like to show society how Two-Faced this guy was.
Okay.
It wasn't anything courtroom or anything like that. It was like in his office.
I always like the acid, the courtroom acid.
I love the courtroom.
And I know that they didn't do it in Dark Knight, obviously, but I was kind of waiting for it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it didn't. The gasoline on the face was good too.
Yeah.
It made more sense, obviously, but like when you get like when you get the reprints, and it's like the retold reprints drawn by somebody else, written by somebody else, that have like nothing to do with regular DC stuff, like they're like the kids' books. There's always that one panel of like Jim Aparo drawn, like Boss Maroney splashing Harvey Dent in the face.
I love that shit, man.
Me too.
And also, I hate Jeff Loeb, but I loved Long Halloween, and I like the mythology that does add to the storyline.
Yeah,
and I also love that Gilda was like this criminal mastermind and killer,
right? Who
is like a psychopath who gets away, and you never see her again,
right?
So I kind of feel like that's kind of stolen away. It's another, and it made me a little upset because it's Tomasi writing it, and I love Tomasi. I know he can crank out a great Two-Face storyline, but.
What are you gonna
And
do?
they didn't do anything with the coin. They just they didn't do like it's. I always had the story that it's like it's his father's coin and like
Right.
he was a psychopath and probably scratching the coin. It just happened to be the bloody coin that his wife's blood was on.
That's it.
Yeah.
What are you gonna do?
That was it. But there's some beautiful Gleason art in it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good team, man. I love them on Green Lantern Corps. That was like,
Yeah.
they knocked it out of the park all the time with that. Infinity's like really kicking up too this week.
Well, this week was a lot of the weirdo New Avengers books.
Yeah, it's kind of, it's such a heady story and we're almost at the end of it, and you have so many little things in play as far as like the whole scope of like the cosmic and Marvel universe. And I'm gonna throw, which I really dug this week too, Guardians of the Galaxy.
It was good. It was a weird book.
It is a weird book, but I feel like it's like a good palate cleanser for the Avengers stuff because they're also in space.
Mm-hmm.
And you have New Avengers kind of with Iron Man and all those dudes, the Illuminati guys meeting the Builders.
An alternate reality builders.
An alternate reality builder. It's a little confusing because now DC brought that with the Authority, and they kind of worked into continuity like years ago. The bleed is what separates realities from realities, and they do that in Marvel now.
Yeah.
But I forgot, what do they call it? Like
the stream or something like that, or
the overflow or whatever.
the overflow. Yeah, yeah.
Is that it?
Yeah, the overflow.
And so that's how they travel. There's like space that exists between realities, and that's where they travel from. And now
all the builders' plans are to kill all the Earths.
Right. And now that they're stuck in regular Earth. These guys are stuck in regular Earth timeline, in the regular timeline, and they're showing the Avengers what's going to happen. And now the book ends with them saying like, "Let's go kill some Earths."
Well, it's like he said, asked Reed, can you destroy Earth? And he's like, of course. And he goes, well, it's stopping you.
It's a really bananas book, and then you have Avengers on the other side of it with
We don't need that.
me dropping the water everywhere. It was empty, by the way. Imagine if that was full and just like, would you have dove on it like a grenade?
Yeah, I would.
Would you have tried to soak it up with your dog?
Oh, dog, get the water. Get the dog water.
Let the dog water up. So we had regular Avengers, which was just all the cosmic stuff, and
it was really awesome.
The Annihilation Wave.
It's a bad idea.
Which was a terrible idea on Cap's part. Gladiator becoming Gladiator again and not like the Praetor.
He's awesome.
You had Thor still on Hala with Ronan, and Ronan destroying the Supreme Intelligence.
Well, you just cracked his skull open.
Yeah.
What also I will never allow myself to forget is that the current Supreme Intelligence is 2 alternate reality Reed Richards melded into 1.
Right. Is it 2 or 3?
2. That was the 2 guys. That's why he has the double rows of eyes.
So ridiculous.
And I like the weirdo like mythology of like Ex Nihil and like Abyss and
like all those
like
people.
Captain Universe, and now they're gonna like in the Black Swan stuff in New Avengers.
Yeah.
You know another thing that is a little weird that I think no one picked up on. I'm pretty sure Black Bolt's dead.
Yeah.
They mentioned in like the new citations that the king is dead.
Okay.
So I think from that he's dead.
All right, that's kind of interesting.
Yeah.
I like how you also have Maximus. It's like Maximus won't do anything, but like he'll do anything to save his brother, and it's him.
I love Maximus.
It's him talking to Lockjaw.
I love Maximus,
which is awesome.
Yeah.
It's a really crazy story. I really want to see what the end game is, and it's coming in like a couple of months too, because you're getting 5 and 6, and then there's the epilogue, and everything's gonna get kind of like shifted.
Yeah.
So I think I really would love it to be. Maybe Miracle Man shows up, like what they did in Age of Ultron with Angela.
Yeah.
I doubt it's going to happen, but I feel like...
we should mention that. The big thing is that Miracle Man's finally coming to Marvel.
The story's finishing.
Yeah.
And I think we're going to get reprints.
They're reprinting everything from scratch in,
Yeah.
in serial format. They're doing like 1 and 2 and everything.
Mm-hmm.
So they're even reprinting the Alan Moore stuff.
Phenomenal.
Yeah.
I can't wait for that.
I think it's going to be great.
I've only read it like piecemeal.
I read it in one sitting about a couple years ago when it became digital.
Okay.
I got a bootleg copy.
Yeah, I've only read it piecemeal, so I'm like really excited to like kind of get my hands on like actual copies.
Because he has to be the reason why Angela's in comics now. Because more than likely, Angela's getting her own series.
Right. Well,
So
they also like they've been touching on a lot of the time stuff too in other books. Like,
everything.
You have the Fantastic Four, and you also have in this
X-Men
issue of Battle of the Atom where it's the future X-Men trying to send the past X-Men way to the past. And they can't because the time stream is so screwed up that they're kind of stuck wherever they are at this point.
Yeah.
I really think it's going to be a good introduction for Miracle Man if they do it, because I think this year is going to be the end of the Marvel crazy time travel stuff.
Yeah, well, there's a reason why they're doing everything at once that we just don't know yet.
Yeah,
like the issue of Superior Spidey this week was very heavy on time stuff. It was all about time.
I didn't read the Superior Spidey.
It was pretty good.
Yeah,
it's more. The rumor is that now we're getting a Spider-Man 2099 comic with Slott and Simone Bianchi.
Well, Alfred and Slott are doing Surfer, right?
Yeah.
Or is that Remender?
That's Slott and Remender. I was Slott and Allred.
Did you see the awesome Spidey 2099 walking around the convention?
No.
The
T-shirt.
Awesome.
The T-shirt is awesome.
Yeah.
It I think it was exclusive for Graffiti Designs. It's just the regular, like the blue and the Red Skull spider thing. It's a cool design. I never realized how much I like this Spidey 2099 design work. I never liked the stringy webs that come off the arms.
I think when you're older, you appreciate it more, because now like you'll get awesome dudes drawing it.
Yeah,
and it's like super better.
Yeah,
if that's even a phrase
super
in the English language.
And they're canceling FF. They're canceling both books.
That's a little nuts. Yeah, I know Fraction's done.
Well, they're gonna be announcing a new #1 pretty soon.
Yeah.
Well,
I'd like Hickman to come back.
He's not. They I think they're doing like James Robinson or something like that.
Okay,
Robinson's doing that a new Invaders book also.
Throw Robinson and Eaglesham on a FF book.
Oh my God.
Closest we'll get to JSA.
Yeah, I know. I would love to see Eaglesham on anything that's related to old legacy characters.
Absolutely.
Big diesel men.
I think it's time to wrap it up, right, Andrew? All right. This has been another episode of Behind the Counter. We will not be here next week. We'll be here the week after next week.
We're going to be inside New Orleans.
We're going to be down
relocating.
South. We'll come to you live from
Thursday night.
From the clubs next Thursday night.
The streets.
I'm done looking at your nads right now. All right, everybody. I'm Rich Stambolian.
Ciao.
Good night.